After years of falling numbers, the New York Times is seeing a surge in subscribers, both print and digital, since the presidential election. For years, print media more generally has suffered from a decline in readership, and these better numbers come as fake news spreads across social media. Julia Borston has our story.
News organizations have seen a surge in subscriptions and stock prices. New York Times shares are up more than 16% since Election Day, while shares of both USA Today parent Gannett and Tronc, which owns the LA Times and Chicago Tribune, are up by double digits. And though Donald Trump has repeatedly called the New York Times failing, tweeting, "Wow, the NY Times is losing thousands of subscribers because of their very poor and highly inaccurate coverage of the Trump phenomena," New York Times CEO Mark Thompson tells us that the paper has added 132,000 subscribers since the election.
Subscriptions have been up 10 times on the same period last year. So we're seeing a 10x net increase in subscriptions. So, far from failing, we're seeing a remarkable response by new subscribers who like the kind of journalism, independent, without fear or favor journalism that the Times represents.
And the Times isn't alone. Tronc's publications saw an average increase of 29% in paid digital subscriptions during election week, with one of its publications, the LA Times, growing its digital subscriptions 61% during election week. The journalism at publications such as the New York Times and the LA Times stands in contrast with the spread of fake news, which Facebook and others are trying to crack down on. Many say the spread of fake news on social media influenced voters this campaign season. In fact, a BuzzFeed study found the top 20 fake news stories generated more engagement, likes, and shares than the top stories from major real news outlets, including the New York Times.
Social media benefits legitimate, professional, fact-check journalism as well. We're very, very present on Facebook and Twitter and other social platforms. But clearly it's true that these new platforms, these relatively new platforms, make it possible for almost anyone to publish almost anything they want.
As for Mr. Trump's repeated threat that he's going to sue the New York Times and change libel laws, Thompson says Mr. Trump told him in a meeting last week, quote, "I don't think you'll have anything to worry about." For Nightly Business Report, I'm Julia Borston in Los Angeles.